Who am I? Where did I come into this world? What am I here for? These are universal questions that come up only to people that are on a spiritual track. But that does not mean that a person doesn't have a sense of identity if he is not spiritual. I have not met a single person in my life who has zero spirituality in him. Okay. His idea of spirituality may be different from what is yours or yours or yours, but everybody thinks about stuff that happens in their life. And if they're thinking about what is happening in their lives, there is some level of spirituality. So spirituality doesn't come really from being esoteric or thinking about the, where did this universe and what is creation and where will we go from here and this is all space. That is one part of it. Spirituality is also solving everyday problems and living your life effortlessly. So in that sense, everybody is a little bit spiritual. And the question of identity always will come up. Who am I? We are all stuck. We find our identity at different levels of existence. So at the very very basic level, I am a human being. Alright. That I consider to be the most basic spiritual layer of your existence, that I am part of the human race. But humans have taken it even further. They get their identity from being female or male, from belonging to a particular race, the Eurasian race or the Mongoloid race or something, from belonging to a particular country, continent. I am Indian. What in you is Indian? When you confine yourself to your basic roots, which are very natural, the color of your skin, the way your facial features are, the language that you had the opportunity to learn and speak, you are reducing your identity to only a very small speck of the consciousness that you are. Because are you only Tamil speaking? Is that the only thing about you that makes you? That is your entire existence. And we say we must have a cultural identity. I must speak Tamil, I must promote my language, I must promote Hindi, talk to my children in the language they must know. They have a sense of identity. And yes, that is part of your identity, that is part of who you are, that is part of your upbringing and your tradition and what you learned. But no two Tamil families will have the same identity. Right? So what is the identity of the child from your house is going to be different from my house, is going to be different from your house. Each one of us, in spite of speaking the same language, is going to give our children a different set of values by which they live. at a much more human level. When we go above the levels, you've got your subhuman levels, the language you speak, the country you live in, all these different levels of identity that we make so important. But then we get into the spiritual realm, where we get stuck in many things. Some people identify themselves by the memories, that they're stuck at the level of the memory. That what has gone behind, what has happened in your past is what defines you. You are a product of all the events that took place a long time ago. And this not only defines your identity, it defines your level of self-esteem. Because if the events that have gone before are not so good, you're bringing those psychological memories into the present moment. So now you're thinking that, oh, you know what, I wish I had not been, had to live in this kind of a circumstance before, I was in such a unhappy place. And you've actually ruined the quality of the moment that is, by just pulling that memory, which is not a good memory, and feeling that you are less than what you are actually. Because you are pure, you are unblemished. Identifying with only one part of yourself is like saying, I am my right finger. Are you really? My body is my right finger. Oh no, your body is so much more. So much more. You need to expand. Many of us are stuck at the level of the past, stuck at the level of the memories. Some identify themselves with the ego. A lot of people, in fact, identify themselves with the ego. That ego is everything for them. It cannot be touched. I am above, and that goes into every aspect of their lives. They are so invested in their ego, they must be in charge, they must be in control, they must be able to manage everything must be done at their command. The friends of their choosing, the clothes of their choosing, the events of their choosing, they decide what happens. The entire identity is about protecting the ego at all costs, attending to every desire, because the ego says this must be done. One desire after another desire after another desire. And the sad part is, they have no idea that this is happening. They have absolutely no idea that they're stuck in their ego. It can only be, an onlooker can view this person and smile and say, oh, is that where you're stuck? You are stuck at your ego. And feel very gracious about it, because you forgive them for all the things that they say or do, because they're stuck there. We have others that are stuck at the level of the intellect. Their entire identity is their intellect. Their ability to make the right decisions, to know all the right things. They know it all. They've got plenty of degrees next to their names. The intellect is everything. There is only respect. You see today's society also, that they identify people by their intellectual qualification. What is your qualification? Who gave you the right to teach me meditation? Right? So, there are many places where they require this general liability insurance. And they asked me, have you got a meditation license? And I consider meditation to be a gift from the divine. In spite of leading you into meditation, your meditation, I cannot certify that today you will have 100% meditation, you'll sink to level B or D, whatever level you're supposed to sink to. What degree can I get in meditation? What certification can I give anybody? That you meditate better than you, or you are the best meditator in the room, I get an A for meditation. It's grace. It's grace. Yet that's the reason that it has no value. Supposing I had a PhD in neuroscience, immediately my meditation class would be on the top. Everybody will be dying because I have the intellectual capacity. So they have identified me. My identity is confined to my intellectual capacity only. There are a lot of us, who cannot function with emotion. They function only through intellect. Doing what is the right thing all the time. Doing what is intellectually appreciated. And yet others that are stuck at the level of emotions. And most of us, right? Most of us. We are guided all day, by this feeling that I am happy, I am sad, I am angry, I am depressed, I am this, I am that. All day buffeted by their emotions. If you sit in an all-day meditation session, which I hope to do with you all at some point, you will notice that as you go deeper and deeper into the meditation, you observe your emotions rising and falling. That you feel the happiness, you feel some anxiety, you feel some fear coming up, some anger coming up, and you're still meditating. So what is it that actually happens? We find situations in our environment to attach it to. So if you are happy, it's because you cooked an excellent meal today. Your son got an award today. And if you're sad, it is, if you're angry and you're miserable, any reason will do. Anything you'll catch hold of. People that identify with emotions are continually buffeted. Up and down and up and down and up and down. What is the best identity to have? That I am one. That there is one. But yeah, that is just a thought right now. Because we are kind of stuck at the level of the intellect still. At least I am. It is a wonderful thought. It is something we know intellectually. That there is only one, and that is the identity that one must strive for. That there is only one. That all, if that, it's like saying that, I am, Vasishtha Yoga says it beautifully, the braceletness in gold. That is the propensity for gold to be a bracelet, but it is gold. Or for, if you look at space and wind, for space to have the propensity for wind, but it is wind, it is just space. Wind is just space. For the propensity of ripples in water, there is only water, but ripples water has a propensity to cause waves which cause ripples. We know that everything is just one, and that is the ultimate identity that one should have.
One consciousness.
One, yeah. One consciousness. One consciousness. Just the one that created that everything else is nothing. Is nothing. Yet, it is so important to say, I am. I am. However, all of us shortchange ourselves. We identify with very narrow pathways. We identify with a little nail, fingernail, on when we should be thinking of this entire body. You say that I am Ayyar, I am Brahmin, I am Tamil speaking, I am American. It's a very narrow affiliation. You are so much more. You are so much more. There is not just one aspect to you, but there is one aspect that goes on and on and on in your head. And it's like that 19-inch bicep that I keep talking about. You exercise only one muscle in your body, that one will become a 19-inch bicep. Whatever you build on, that manifests in your life. And there is pride, and there is self-esteem, and there is identity. The three just keep intermingling, going with one another all the time. So yes, one must take pride in the fact that we are Ayyar or Brahmin, and that we speak this language or cook this well.
Biologically, your memories, my memories make me, whatever I remember, whatever I know, whatever my experience is.
And
that may not be spiritual, I don't know if that is spiritual.
Without your ego, where would you be? It is, you are not just your memories, you are your ego, you are your intellect, you are your emotions, you are your body,
right.
you are your...
Memories also give you emotions, they've taught you to be certain ways, right? They have made you, your experiences have created you, what you are. Your ego, if you're someone who is very modest or you're not very egoist, then that's also comes from your experiences.
And they also destroy the quality of your present moment. Nobody denies that you have had a past, but it's not that you've had a past in this life. You have had a past in millions of lives, and the real you is affected not by these few memories that you've had in these 40, 50 years, but by millions of lifetimes. So which memory do you want to remember and say, this is me?
No,
Which
I'm not
one do you
saying
want?
that I'm right. I'm saying this is one way of looking at it.
You are right, and are you right?
But the question is, why are you asking the question of identity and who am I? It is to know how you should behave and what is the right thing to do.
Okay.
Should you act out of your conditioning?
That's
or
right. Okay.
how should you act? No, but you should act out of the feeling that everything is one, so then whatever you do is unselfish.
Okay.
And it is not based on someone did me a bad thing in the past, so I'm going to take revenge.
Okay.
No, you're in the present moment, you do the righteous thing at that time. Because everyone is connected, so you just do whatever you're supposed to do.
So
That is the only reason to ask the question
that is right.
at that level.
Absolutely right.
You see?
That's so true.
That's
That is so true.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's not about
Yeah.
what the past.
Everything has
It's about
right.
what
You have
you
a
are.
destiny. That's why we are all manifesting different egos in different forms and different conditioning. Because there is something we are here to fulfill. And how do we fulfill that? By recognizing we are part of the same consciousness. Then that will give you the motivation and the determination, the courage and everything, because all your naysaying or the negative things that I cannot do this, or I won't get a good break, all that is gone. You only go into what your real desires, your dreams are, your destiny. That's what I've read. You connect, once you realize everything is consciousness, you realize what is your purpose of life. And then you do the right thing to achieve that.
So purpose of life is just a goal, that also something physical with this world, or it's something.
It is the purpose of life is
Yeah.
why you're here.
Is to
Something
evolve as a
to
His
human being.
wife.
You have to
His
make
wife.
a.
No, is
No,
to
that
have-
is the unknown.
But you may not be capable.
Why
Or
you
it
are
is
here,
the
or
known.
what you are here to
Destiny.
fulfill. We
Yes.
don't know.
Destiny.
How-
Destiny
Huh?
is what you are here for, to achieve a certain destiny.
Do we know that? We
there
don't
is-
know.
And it's also
You have that.
No. If we know, like, we will try to go in that direction.
But that is the whole purpose of quietening everything.
That's why you have
and
to realize
touching
what
the
the
source.
source is.
Because when you touch the source, the only thing that exists is right action in the present moment. That is all, everything. It is the karma that you do right now. Right action right now is everything. There is nothing that went before, there is nothing that is coming in the future. It is only now. It is only now. So what is your purpose in life if you get stuck in or really caught up in that thing like, oh, why am I here? I mean, that itself is a good thing, but it will leave you even more confused. It's a good thing to inquire. If you're inquiring and you're not getting your answers, that's an even better thing. That means you will inquire even more. But inquiring and asking those questions all comes at the level of the intellect, and that's where you get stuck. And it's important to really come back and say that I am. And that's all there is to it. There's nothing more to be said. I am.
Yeah.
This moment is all that there is.
It ultimately comes down to what makes you happy. And what is real happiness for you? That if you're completely happy, you don't ask any question. That is what the rishis and all do. You don't ask, why am I here? What is my identity? It's all because there is some, confusion, some uncertainty, some restlessness.
But Rajiv, confusion is always good. I mean, if the beginning of Yoga Vashishta begins with Ramar being utterly confused, beginning of Bhagavad Gita begins with Arjuna being confused. Confusion is a good thing. A confused mind means that you're searching for that answer. And the answer will never be easy and not the same for each one of us. It is for each one of us to find out. And it
But
is...
going back to his question about identity.
And that's the whole
that's-
point. The identity, don't get stuck. Is my ultimate message to you. Don't get stuck with limited identity.
Okay.
So if I were to answer you
Like
in
Ramakrishna
one line,
Paramahansa
I would
says-
say one thing to you. Don't limit your identity to the right nail on your pinky.
Exactly.
You have got so much more. So that's all there is to say.
I think someone said on WhatsApp, like Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, there is no other.
Ramana Maharshi.
Ramana Maharshi.
Yeah, there's no other.
So how should we treat others? No, there is no other. We're all one, basically. So that should be how you guide how your actions are guided in this world.
It's a good exercise actually, For a while when I was doing my chapter on identity. Are you still recording?
Yes.
Maybe we could just turn it off. Doing a chapter on self-esteem and identity and